Ayo. Okay. Hi, I'm Delna.
Hi, I'm Reshma.
Hi, I'm Delna.
And I'm Reshma. Before we start, we have to share some good news with you. We have an Indo-Japan recruitment program. For those of you all have passed their 10th and 12th, we are giving a job opportunity on the 10th of December, 9 a.m., conducted by AJINORAH Global Ventures. The chief guest is going to be former Kerala DGP Sir Lokanath Behra sir. And chief guest is going to be R.J. Chandran.
Yeah.
The information can be seen on your screen right now.
Yes. Okay, so another happy news for our family, that is NHS interview. For this interview, it is not essential to clear IELTS or OET. If you are clear this interview, you will get a conditional offer letter. So try to be utilize this opportunity. You must need to bring, you just need to bring your CV, your updated CV. So you must show the poster.
And we have fabulous results for OET.
Yeah.
So congratulations to all the OET winners.
Okay, so now let's move to the speaking part.
Yes, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of speaking with some examples.
Yes, as we all know, speaking is 15 minutes examination and which has 4 criteria, right?
Yes, so I believe that speaking is actually the most simplest module in the IELTS exam because you don't have to work for it. Like, you're just going to answer questions that you're already aware of.
Yes.
So how many parts are there for speaking?
3 parts for speaking, that is introduction and cue card,
Yes.
then follow questions.
Yes. And the criterias?
Criteria or parameters are like fluency,
The flow of talking.
yes, and lexical resources,
Your vocabulary.
grammar and pronunciation.
Yes. And do you think speaking is a formal interview or a semi-formal interview?
Yeah, I think speaking is a semi-formal interview and you must be place a smile on your face.
Yeah, but it's always nice to maintain a formal structure, like having a smile on your face or maintaining a good posture. Don't slouch and make the examiner feel that you're not interested.
Yes.
Yes.
So now let's move to the introductory part, the first part of speaking.
Yes. So introduction is basically you have to introduce yourself to the examiner about your name, where do you come from, your family, etc.
Educations. That is like personal type of questions.
Yes. So we'll show you an example, a demo.
Okay.
May I know your full name?
My name is Delna Nariji and you may address me Delna.
Okay. Where do you come from?
I am coming from Pathanamthitta.
So coming from is the most frequent error usage that people actually use. Coming from basically means a temporary situation, like the present situation. So it is always better to say I come from or hail from. So let's try that again.
Yes.
Where do you come from?
I come from Pathanamthitta, a small beautiful district in Kerala and which is famous for Shabarimala.
Okay, who all are there in your family?
My family consists of father, mother and a sibling.
Okay, consist is not wrong, but when you talk about your family is more a personal concept, right? So it's always better to use my family includes, or to make it more structured, you can say I belong to a nuclear family, which includes my father, mother, etc.
Yes. So that's all about the personal type of questions.
Yeah, there would be different type of questions about your work also, but then it all depends. And the rest of the section is a warm-up session on the topics related to chocolates, time management, your
Emails.
emails, your likes and dislikes, and what you think about it.
Yeah, general type of questions.
Yeah, and how are we going to answer those questions?
So in this type of questions, you must state 2 to 3 sentences with explanations and relevant reasons.
Yes, so we'll show you a demo.
Yes. So Reshma, do you like chocolates?
Yeah, I like chocolates.
Okay. So you need to say yeah in IELTS speaking. You must say yes or no. A definite answer must be given.
Yes, so yes is the yes, I like chocolates. It's the simplest way of answering a question. To make it better, as well as in IELTS speaking, it is always better to give an explanation and a reason to your answer. So
Okay.
yes, I do like chocolates because chocolates brings me so much of joy, and my favorite chocolate is the Ferrero Rocher.
Okay.
Or you can say that I have a sweet tooth. I'm a sweet tooth person. I do love chocolates, and my favorite chocolate is the Ferrero Rocher.
Here we can see that she have used sweet tooth. It's an idiom that means a person who is fond of chocolate. Also, instead of yes, we can say certainly or absolutely.
Yeah, you can substitute yes to different kinds of synonyms like certainly, definitely, indeed, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. And for a higher band score, it is always better to use
Vocabulary, synonyms, idioms.
yes, and idioms and phrases in English.
Yes. So the second don't or you don't do in the IELTS is going off topic.
Yeah. So we'll show you a demo on how people go off topic.
Okay.
Do you like music, Delna?
Yes, I love music. I usually play music in my phone, and when I hear music, I used to dance in my future or in our past. Also, when I hear music, I dance with the music. Dance is my favorite passion, and my favorite ambition is to become a dancer.
So when you're talking about the topic, you have to stick to the topic. We know that we are actually extending the topic and give explanation to the topic, but then don't go off topic. Like she spoke about her dance and an ambition to be a dancer, but that is not the question. Our
Yes.
question was if you like music. So always stick to the topic and make sure you don't go out of topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the third one is like using local words.
Yeah, English equivalent of the local words.
Yes.
So a common example I will give you. So which is your favorite festival, Dana?
My favorite festival is Onam.
So when you think about Onam, what comes to your mind?
First thing that comes to my mind is Sadhya. Sadhya, Pookalam, and family, relatives, friends.
Okay, so Sadhya, Pookalam, Onam are all Malayalam terms, right? So how do we use it in English equivalent? So I'll show you an example. Onam is a festival celebrated by Malayalis in and around the world. Onam actually signifies the mark of the king, a homecoming of the king Mahabali. It is also a harvest festival. Sadhya is a meal presented on a banana leaf with variety of traditional dishes, and Pookalam is a design presented on a floor, basically like a floral carpet.
Yes.
Yes. So this is how you have to present using English equivalent words for your local language.
Yes, instead of local language.
Yeah.
So the fourth one is modern words, using modern
this
words.
is a frequent question I get asked a lot. Can we use millennial lingos or modern
words.
words in speaking?
For example, lit,
basic.
low-key, basic.
Like I think New Year's are basic and I am a low-key person. All that are modern slangs. So I don't think, because IELTS speaking is a formal way of speaking, so I don't think it is advisable or appropriate to use modern slangs for IELTS speaking.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's all about the
Part 1.
Now let's move to the
Cue card section.
Before going to cue card, do not forget to remind the
The
guys.
Indo-Japan recruitment program. So those who have cleared their 10th and 12th, we have a golden job opportunity presenting to you on the 10th of December 9 a.m. conducted by AJINORAH Global Ventures.
And you can see the poster. Also, it's also happy to say that NHS interview on 11th December, that is on this Sunday, and is happening here in AJINORAH. For this interview, it is not essential to clear or to pass IELTS or OET. If you clear this interview, you will get a conditional offer letter. So you must need to bring just your updated CV. So utilize this wisely.
And we should also mention a big congratulations to all the OET winners. Congratulations, guys.
Okay, so now let's move to the second part, that's cue card.
So in cue card question, you will be presented with a topic with sub questions. You have 1 minute to prepare the question and 2 minutes to talk about it. So how are you going to prepare the cue card?
So the first one is, I think, yours, right?
The structured method. Basically what you do is, in the structured method is, you think of a topic. So when you think of a topic, make sure you stick to that topic. While you're speaking, don't change the topic. Like for example, if you thought about talking about a car, stick to the topic itself. While you're speaking, don't change into speaking about a jeep, because it will definitely mess up your speaking. And when you're talking about the topic, you should write your bulletin points. There are two methods to do it, the crossroad method as well as the spider method, but I usually follow the bulletin points method, where you write whatever you're going to say in the format of how you're going to say it through bulletin points, and see if you can explain your bulletin points. And if you have time again, you can write down your first few sentences so that you can start off with a great confidence. So that is the structured method.
Yes. And the other one is free flow method. That means you must be very free and answer the questions with what you understand from the question.
Like you can think of an incident in your life. Most of the cue card questions will be relevant to your life. So you can think about an incident in your life and talk about the incident. So in case if you haven't experienced that incident, like for example, describe a fishing incident.
Yes.
I have never been for fishing. So what you have to say is, I've been for a backwater trip. So I can explain about the backwater trip, and I can slowly include the fishing incident in that topic.
Yeah. From doing this one, we will automatically answer the sub questions also. So we will be clear the task achievement, right?
Yeah. So again, if you have time in that 1 minute, it is always better to write the first few sentences on what you're going to say, so that the first things you're going to say will be good and you can start off with a bang.
Yeah. So Reshma, is it good for take the same question as answer?
No, when you are preparing, like when you're speaking, don't paraphrase the question itself. For example, can you give me a question?
So is it essential to use mobile phones?
So my answer, if I'm paraphrasing it, it will be like, yes, it is essential to use mobile phones, because that's the way.
Yeah.
But then when speaking, it is always better to start with a something new, a general statement maybe.
Yes. That means mobile is very essential or very important in our life.
So for example, mobile phones are an integral part of our life. It is not only used for the means of communication, it can be used for different kinds of things like clicking pictures, taking videos, booking
searching
a cab.
Google.
Yeah, searching Google, and then start off with your topic. Like in the recent day, I used my mobile phones, and speak about your topic.
Yes. So don't be off topic.
Yeah, don't be off topic also while you're talking about your cue card.
Yes. So
some of the tips I would recommend my students while speaking is, if you find difficulty in speaking about on a cue card, what you have to do, we all have our phones, right? So what you have to do is, there is something called a voice recorder. So take a cue card, first start out with a random topic, like about your friend or fan, about your favorite movie, and talk about the topic on the voice recorder. After you're done talking, listen to how you spoke. So when you're listening, you have to make sure that
write down the mistakes.
Yeah, you have to write down the mistake on a piece of paper or a book. Then later, when you're hearing to your recording again, make sure you don't make that mistakes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is always better to
speaking buddy,
to have a speaking buddy, a friend to help you, and practice cue card at least 15 minutes every day. maximum 2 cards a
Two
day.
cards for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it will definitely benefit you for your speaking.
Yes. So that's all about the follow-up cue card
Cue card
section.
session,
Yeah.
yes.
So now let's move to the follow-up.
Follow-ups.
That's the last part of speaking module, and which is have to say 5 to 6 sentences with explanation and relevant reasons.
Yes.
So there are different types of questions, right?
Yeah.
Agree, disagree type of question, partially agree type of questions. So let's move to a demo.
Yes. Okay.
So, do you think children should use mobile phones?
I think yes, children should use mobile phones. What do you think about that statement?
Okay. So she said, I think yes. So don't say I think yes. You must say yes, I think.
Yes.
Or I agree to the statement or agree
I
to the
completely
question.
agree to the I completely agree, because children should use mobile phones so that they can call their parents in case of some emergency.
Yes.
So I've used an example as well as I've explained the statement also.
Okay. So try to make it 5 to 6 sentences.
Sentences always.
If the question is unsure, how you answer the question? Like, do you think ebooks will replace paper books in future?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll use paper books in the future also.
So must say, to be honest,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
And there's another way of saying it. Well, it depends. I reckon we'll use both in the future.
Yeah.
So you can use variety of language, like variety of words while you're unsure. And there's something when you beg to differ, like when you want to differ, like you
Hear the question again.
Yeah, you can also say that, can you please repeat that question again, or I beg your pardon. It is always important to follow a good formal way of
Yes.
talking.
So don't forget about the Indo-Japan one.
Yes. Again, we're reminding you the Indo-Japan recruitment program for all the 10th and 12th. We're giving a job opportunity on the 10th of December, 9 a.m.
And the other one is NHS interview. For this interview, it is not essential or to clear OET or IELTS. If you clear this interview, you will get a conditional offer letter. So bring your updated CV. So utilize this opportunity.
Okay. And the OET winners. Congratulations to all the OET winners.
Yeah. And we saw a demo of cue card, how to prepare a cue card.
Yes.
So the question is, how you do or how the use of mobile phones in your life?
Okay, so I'll start out with how I started. Mobile phones are an integral part of our life. It's not only a means of communication, but we use for different kinds of things. The recent time I used my mobile phone was to I was having difficulty in speaking. So I used my mobile phone to record my voice and use it as a method for speaking. So every day I used to record my voice and hear to myself speaking every day, so that I can memorize memorize my speech as well as improve my vocabulary. And this is how I used my mobile phones as an integral part of my life and an important decision. So what do you think? How was my cue card question?
Okay, so here we can see you have used a general statement, right?
That is good, I think.
Yes, that is good. And also there's some mistakes.
Grammatical mistakes.
Yeah.
And I did not complete my cue card for
In
2
minutes. Yeah.
It is very important to utilize the 2 minutes, because they're actually judging your speaking the language. So it is always better to utilize your 2 minutes.
Okay, so how you prepare your follow-up questions?
I prepare my follow-up questions according to my cue card questions. It's first of all, I'll randomly blurt out things like what comes to my mind, and I'll see if I can agree on it or disagree on it. Sometimes I might be confused also. So
if examiner asks you a question, so if you, when answering the question, you will suddenly answer the question, or you will make a stop.
I won't stop. I'll keep on going until the examiner tells me to stop. So that's how I'm going to.
Okay, so let's move to the first section, like introduction. In introduction section, you have to say 2 to 3 sentences.
Yes, a recap of everything, 2 to 3 sentences, and I hope you understood that what all we mentioned about the wrong usages.
Yes. So in introduction, you must say 2 to 3 sentences and give the relevant examples or explanations.
Reasons for what you're saying.
And for cue card, so if I'm asking another question, if you complete in 2 minutes, is it okay or not good?
I think if you complete in 2 minutes, it's definitely okay.
Okay.
But
Before the examiner said.
before
The examiner said. You must stop your answers, or before you examiner said, if you stop the answers, what is it good or bad?
before the examiner says,
Yes.
yeah. Well, it is when you know it's 2 minutes, it's always good. But generally, the examiner will stop you when it's 2 minutes. But make sure you don't complete it before 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So always practice your cue card every time, and make sure you complete all the cue card questions in 2 minutes while you're practicing also.
Yes. So you just ask me one question, cue card questions, so you can clear my errors, right?
So describe a long walk you had.
Okay, the long walk I had. So I'm talking. So let's start. The long walk I have is recently in my college days, and it was very nice. When I was walking through my garden, it was very beautiful sceneries. Okay, I can't.
Okay. So it's okay to say, like, even for the questions while you're answering, it's okay to say to the examiner that, I'm sorry ma'am, I did not understand the question. Can you please repeat again? Or can you give, like, not for the cue card question, I don't think they would give you another cue card topic. But then it's okay to say that I did not understand, or I don't know the answer. But then just don't go, like, don't portray it as a very mean way, like, I don't know, or like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So must say relevant answers. If you don't know any answers for the cue card, you must cook up your stories.
Yes, always imagine a story, and if you have a very good imaginative mind, it is always better to cook up stories. And like I said, most of the cue card questions will be relevant to your life itself.
So let's go to the examples. Like when you go for fishing, you said you haven't go for fishing.
Yeah, I haven't been to fish.
Yeah. So how will you explain the answer?
So last summer I went for a blackwater trip with my family, and with all my family friends, we had a great time. We had sadhya arranged in a boat. It was a houseboat with a lot of rooms in it. It was in Alapura, and the fishing incident, and we stopped in a small place near a village, and we went for fishing.
Okay. So here we can see she used sadhya, but haven't given any definition.
Yes.
So it's a local word.
Yeah.
And you can clear that local word by giving the explanation. So how will you explain that?
Sadhya is a meal presented on a banana leaf with variety of traditional dishes, like I said before.
Yeah. So hope you guys understood
Yes.
how to make a cue card or do's and don'ts in cue card. Now when we go for the follow-up questions, how will you answer a follow-up questions in 5 sentences or 6 sentences?
Okay. You show them a demo, ask me any question.
Okay. So the question is email important?
Sorry?
Is emails important?
I do think emails are important because email is a source of communication. We use emails in different kind of office purposes to transfer our details. So I do think emails are very important.
Okay.
For example, I used my email to transfer an application to my school. It's via email communication.
Yeah. So here we can see she has sorry because she haven't understood the question. So you must say sorry or pardon. I am begging pardon to the examiner. You got the question.
Yes.
So if any doubt, we can clear from.
Yeah, you can ask your questions. If there is any doubt, you can ask your questions in the comment section.
Yes.
We'll clear it out.
Actually, I don't think any. Yeah, there is no.
Comment.
Yes, nothing doubts or to clear in speaking module. So, Reshma, in speaking module, what are the do things to be remember in speaking modules?
I think always the proper grammar, proper pronunciation of words, using good vocabulary.
The 4 criteria, right?
Yeah, the 4 criteria are always important. Those are the due things.
In fluency, what are the things we want to look about?
So like I said before, like the examiner should be interested. The flow of talking, like generally right now how we are talking, that's how the flow of talking is.
Yes.
The continuity and logic, that's the fluency.
Yes. And for the lexical resources, for the vocabulary, synonyms.
Using good vocabulary. Suppose you have to mention about a person who they do things in the last moment. You can say procrastinator as an
Yes.
example, using good vocabulary.
Yeah. Also, when do not need to interfere in the middle.
Yeah.
If the examiner is asking question, don't interfere.
Make sure that you don't interfere. You don't cut him or her off in the middle.
Yes. So the third one is grammar, right?
Yes.
So how will you explain the grammar one?
Using the correct tenses.
Mhm.
So if you're explaining something about the present, it is always important to use the present. And if you're saying something about the past, it's always important to use the past.
Make sure used to is in the past.
Yes.
You use used to in the past only. When we say about something about past, you must say used to. Okay, for the fourth one is pronunciation. How will you explain that?
Actually pronouncing words properly. I make my students do an exercise. The best way of pronouncing things is by doing a tongue twister. Shall we
Yes.
do a tongue twister? No? Okay. So if you have free time, if you want to do a mouth exercise, it's always better to do a tongue twister. It all actually helps your mouth. It's basically a mouth exercise, so it helps you to pronounce words properly, and make sure you pronounce every word properly.
Yes.
And try, like sometimes we are doing the same mistakes. We try to finish things off quickly, and
Yes.
we tend to mispronounce words. So make sure you pronounce words properly and don't try to finish things fast. So it will definitely
also,
lead to
you must complete your sentence.
Hmm.
Yeah, don't incomplete the sentence and go to the next one. You must complete the one sentence and then go to the next one.
and don't remain silent after actually saying something, and like, I like chocolates, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go like that. Please complete the sentence while you're speaking.
Yes. So in speaking, we know that it's essential to speak in a good accent.
No, I don't think so. Having a maintaining your native accent is definitely fine. So you don't have to fake an accent. If you're faking an accent, you should maintain that also. But then I don't recommend you to fake an accent. The way you naturally talk is definitely fine.
Okay. So if you're getting a wrong question or you do not understand the question, what will you do?
I'll ask the examiner to, can you repeat that question, ma'am? Or, I beg your pardon, can you repeat that question again?
Okay. So if you stop between 2 minutes or you stop by 1:30 minutes, what will you do? Or you will what will you do?
So if there's nothing more for me to say, I will say that that's about it. Like that's all I have to say. Maybe the examiner might understand,
Okay.
but make sure that you talk for 2 minutes, because they're actually judging your language.
So we got a comment like how to easily create a general statement in the cue card. How to create a general statement in the cue card. We must talk about the question. If a question is about chocolate or if a question is about mobile phone, we must say something related to mobile phones.
Yes.
For example, so you tell about mobile phone, right? Mobile phone is an essential thing.
Yeah, integral part of our lives. Like I gave my example. My question was about mobile phones. So how important was mobile phones? So I did not start off with the topic itself, but I said something general, like something new. Mobile phones are integral part of their lives. It's not only used for communications, but for different kinds of purposes.
Okay. So, do you think how to overcome the fillers? So we must do daily practice, right?
Yes, basic fillers are okay, like a little time to think, but then don't waste a lot of time by thinking.
Yes.
Like I said, your cue card should definitely be like you're telling a story to someone.
Yes. So the examiner can be visualize what you said,
Yes.
right?
And make sure when you use idioms, you don't use it in writing.
Yeah. Also right way.
Yeah, idioms and phrases should be only there for speaking. Don't use it in writing.
Okay. So if you have a filler like and our day.
Yeah.
So basically, what's the filler? The sound or the and they say. What's the filler basically?
I think repeated words and are fillers. Yeah. So those are the things that you should avoid.
Okay. In the follow-up question, if the examiner asks a question, so we don't know the answer, most of the students will be
Quiet.
quiet.
Yeah.
So don't be quiet that time. So you will pretend like, oh, I haven't thought about that question before.
Yeah.
Or it's an interesting question. So we'll cover the gap between the question and the answer, right?
Yes, and suppose your question is about a science documentary and you're not aware about the science documentary, you can start off saying that that is an interesting question. I haven't watched any science documentary, but I do have watched some documentaries in Discovery channels on animals and life, but I would like to talk about movie documentary I watched recently. So you can divert your question like that in some cases.
Okay, in cue card, you must complete your each sentence, right?
Yes, you have to complete all your sentences. Even in follow-ups, you have to complete all your sentences. Don't swallow words.
Yeah.
You have to complete and make the examiner hear what you're actually clearly saying.
Okay, we got a question like, if you got a question about stars. Okay, if you got a question about stars, then how will you answer the question?
The first thing that comes to my mind is stars in the sky.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely think about the stars in the sky, and I will say that stars are always like twinkling lights in the sky. Stars always guide my way through. I always love watching the night sky and stargazing always. Yeah. So
Okay. In there we can include a word mesmerizing, right?
yes, mesmerizing. Stars are always mesmerizing.
Yeah. So, if you get a question related to stars, like planets, how will you answer the question? Or some people or some student will answer like, I have watched a planet movie, or that's not relevant, right? So, how will you answer the question?
About when you get
Planet.
planets. So I generally talk about the things I know about the planets. My method is basically to talk about what I know. So sometimes I think that imagining and cooking up stories might lead to thinking a lot and expanding the fillers. So I always talk about the things I know, and if I don't know anything, I'll clearly say that I'm not sure about the topic in a very nice way.
Yeah, okay. So, if you don't know the answer and you cannot talk to the examiner, how will you explain to the examiner that you cannot talk? Or is it irrelevant that you must say like
So
that?
first I'll definitely speak about the topic a little bit, whatever I know. Then I'll tell that I'm not aware of the topic very much, but this is how much I know about.
Okay. So, how will you answer the question if the question is not relevant? Or I will explain the examiner the question is not relevant.
Like I said before, I'm not 100% sure. And you can also use words like it depends. I reckon that we did an example before, right?
Yes.
I reckon that we'll use both in the future.
Okay. So also for the OET winners, it's very congratulations to you guys.
Congratulations to you guys.
Okay.
And before we end, the most important thing is while you're doing your speaking exam, don't be nervous.
Yes.
Always attend the exam
Very
even though
calmly.
it is an exam, attend it like you're going to talk to a friend. So I tell this to my students. Imagine you're a big celebrity and the person sitting opposite to
Taking
you
your
is
interview.
taking your interview. Always being nervous or being anxious will definitely lead to mispronunciation and messing up your whole speaking.
Yeah.
So don't be nervous. Try to think something else.
Yeah.
Cool down yourself and attend your speaking exam. So that is the best way to attend a speaking exam.
Okay. So if the question is, do you like chocolate? You must answer like, I like chocolate or I love chocolate. How will you answer the question?
You can use both. I like and love is definitely fine.
Okay.
And you can explain when the direct question, you should explain it in 2 sentences also.
Okay. So we said before like Onam is a festival. So Onam is a harvest festival, right? So I will explain the Malayalam words, each words like Pookalam, Sadhya.
Like I mentioned before, Pookalam is basically a floral carpet. So I'll describe Pookalam like it's a design present on the floor, basically like a flower carpet. And Sadhya is a meal which is presented on a banana leaf with variety of traditional dishes.
Okay.
And about Onam also, it basically describing Onam. So the examiner is clear on what you're saying.
Okay. Now in the introduction section, some people say I passed 10th or I passed 12th.
Yeah.
So is passed a correct phrase and word?
No, I think it is always better to use I graduated. And I remember a funny incident.
Okay.
So one of my students said I passed away from 12th.
Oh,
Yeah.
then how was your experience?
No, I didn't say anything, but I did correct
Okay.
him or her.
So passed means like something related to faint, right?
Yeah. So it's always better to say I graduated. And when you're saying your classes also, I finished my 10th class or
So avoid
10th standard. I think it's not right. It's
Great.
okay. I won't say it's wrong, but it's always better to say I finished my 12th grade.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a standard way of telling,
Speaking, yeah.
So in the follow-up section, we have many questions, right? Almost how many type of question? Like 8 to 10 or 5 to 6 type of questions?
Mostly 3 or 4 questions the examiner will be asking, but make sure that you explain it with 5-6 sentences
Okay.
and an example.
Okay.
And basically the question will be like if you're agreeing, disagreeing, and what you think of. But then don't confuse follow-ups to part 1. Part 1 is just minimum 2 sentences, and follow-ups is you have to explain with examples.
Yes. So one question is it okay to ask the examiner questions about my performance after speaking session? So actually,
What do you
don't-
think about it?
I think don't do like that.
Yeah.
Just say thank you.
Yeah. And it's better to leave. Thank
Yes.
you.
If we said like that, what will you do?
About like
Asking question to the examiner.
don't ask questions to the examiner, even though like I said that treat the examiner like don't see the examiner as
Like a
like,
close friend.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a semi-formal interview.
Yeah.
So we keep some distance.
yeah, we are the ones who have to answer questions, so don't ask questions to the examiner.
Yes.
And about your performances also, so it's better not to ask. We'll definitely know our results when we get our
Yeah.
when we get our scores and all, so it's better to wait until then.
Yes. So if you must greet your examiner, right?
Yes,
when we
when
enter
you
to the
enter the room, and make sure like when you enter the room itself you're on record, and the main thing you have to focus on is to speak a lot.
Yes. Speak loudly with confidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's good to ask questions, it's not relevant. It's not relevant questions. Is it good to ask a not relevant question to the
No,
examiner?
don't ask relevant questions. Always don't ask. First of all, don't ask the examiner any questions. Just if you can't hear him, the examiner, what him or her is saying, just ask questions like I can't hear you, ma'am, or I'm sorry, all that. But then don't ask questions to the examiner, and don't ask irrelevant questions to the examiner.
Make sure you don't say yeah in
Yeah.
speaking.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Don't say yeah in exam.
Yes.
Yes or no. A definite answer must be given, right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't see the examiner like your buddy.
Yes. Even though, like I said, don't treat the examiner like when you're doing the exam. Don't treat the examiner like don't visualize it, but keep it in your mind that
It's a semi-formal interview.
yeah, and you're speaking to a friend, but in reality, it's not.
Yes. So on the next day, it's going to be Indo-Japan recruitment. You don't forget about
Yeah,
that.
please don't forget about it. It's on the 10th of December, 9 a.m. conducted by AJINORAH Global Ventures, and our chief guest is going to be the former DGP of Kerala State, Lokanath Behra sir.
And the next one is to really happy thing to have families NHS interview. For this interview, it is not essential to clear your OET or IELTS. If you clear this interview, you will get a conditional offer letter. Basic thing to bring to this interview is your updated CV.
Yes.
So please utilize your opportunity
Yes.
very clearly, right?
Yeah, please
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So
And congratulations to the
All the
OET
OET
winners
winners.
again.
yeah, hope you guys enjoy this session. Also informative to you
Yeah,
guys, right?
I hope this session was informative.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys.